Scrivener 1, 2, and 2, and it's a special discussion week called, Discussion Week. I've been getting a decent influx of subscribers lately, so I decided that what I would do was give you guys a whole week of Dave, as opposed to just a couple episodes a week of Dave. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to have this discussion week so I can make a bunch of short, tiny videos as opposed to a bunch of long ones, so that I can make more in the week instead of less, and you guys can get nice little snacks. Sorry about the white t-shirt. My work shirt ripped. I didn't feel like making new laundry, so you're going to have to deal with Yu-Gi-Oh! Via a Hanes ad. Yeah. I'm not used to this thing. Today's discussion is actually one I've been having very recently in person with a couple of my friends and other people at locals and just subscribers in general, and I figured, let's make it a video. Sure. And that is min-maxing your deck. Specifically a bad rogue deck or just a rogue deck in general. We're gonna say objectively not tier 1 instead of bad today. But we all know the truth. Obviously, this will apply to whether you're playing a good deck, a bad deck, or something in between. However, I think this really hits home for when you're playing a rogue strategy, because if you're playing a meta strategy, these are probably already things you're doing. Otherwise, what are you doing with yourself? What does it mean when I'm talking about min-maxing a deck? Basically, that means you are building the deck as best as possible, either bolstering its strengths or reinforcing against its weaknesses, and building it with the best cards in mind for that deck, regardless of budget. I know it might seem a little silly to throw in 3 impermanents and 3 ash blossoms in something like My Aqua Actresses because the deck is terrible. However, if you want to compete at a locals or even a regional level with something that is less than tier 1, it really does benefit you to put yourself on a level playing field with all of the meta players. Now you might be saying, okay Dave, I'm playing a rogue deck for a reason because I don't have any moon eyes. So how the hell am I supposed to maximize my deck's power and minimize its inconsistencies, min-max, when I don't have access to just a bunch of big power staples? You don't necessarily have to shove 3 Ash Blossoms into your deck to make it competitive or to bring it up to snuff, but you do need to at least objectively look at your deck and decide what it needs, what it doesn't need, and try to steer clear of the scrub mentality. When min-maxing your deck, I find that a lot of people who are playing rogue decks tend to fall into one of 2 pitfalls. Either 1, they shoved an engine in their deck that has absolutely nothing to do with it, and it doesn't actually help it, it's just in there taking space. Or 2, they're playing a suboptimal card in their deck simply because it is funsies. I'm all for playing a card because you think it's fun and want to play your deck because you think it's fun, and if you're playing a rogue deck, you probably like the deck, because otherwise why would you ever subject yourself to playing a deck that is not tier 1 or at least tier 2 and take all the L's in the world? Well, it's because you like the deck. But if you are going to take it to a competitive scene like a regionals or even a big local tournament, you really can't sit there and then complain that your deck doesn't work and you lose all the time because you're playing funsies cards. Come on, you can't have it both ways. Never ever say because I'm playing a bad deck you must play a bad card, or it's okay to play a bad card. That doesn't make any sense. If your deck is having consistency issues, because let's be real, unless you're a tier 1 deck, it's probably not your power ceiling that's the problem. Most decks have a wombo combo that if it's worth playing at all, then if you get this 1, 2, 3 card combo off, you pretty much won the duel. You make an unbreakable board, or they can't do anything, you lock them out of everything, or their deck doesn't work for some reason because of a monster that you got. Whatever it is, most decks have a wombo combo. Their power ceiling is through the roof. In most cases, unless it's just like a GX era trash can filler deck that hasn't seen play in 10 years, then okay, maybe it doesn't. But if it's come out in the last 5, let's say. However, it's consistency that is probably keeping it out of the ranking list, and that is what you need to pay attention to when you are min-maxing your deck. Never, ever keep bolstering your power ceiling. That is completely ridiculous. If your deck is worth playing, like I said before, it doesn't need its power ceiling bolstered just because you want to make the wombo combo wombo-wombo-wah combo. That's ridiculous. You're just adding inconsistencies. No, you need to cut the wombos in order to lower your power ceiling and get your deck to be able to make the same play over and over and over and over again. That is how you min-max a deck. Maximize its potential, minimize its inconsistencies. Because if it's like, say you're playing Black Wings, or you're playing, I don't know, Cyber Dragons. What do Cyber Dragons want to do? Well, they want to fusion summon mostly, but they also exceed a little bit. And what do Black Wings want to do? They want to synchro summon. So it makes no sense to shove, I don't know, Layer of Darkness in one of those simply because, oh, well, if I combo it with this other card in the archetype, it kind of lets me tribute one of their guys once in a while. No, stop. Just because in this one instance it would raise your wombo combo to the wombo level, that isn't good because you're just adding a card into your deck that when you don't have the other 2 or 3 cards for it, it's just not going to work. And then the other point I mentioned way back before this long rambling tirade was that, okay, so you're not going to put things into your deck that just extend the amount of combo pieces you need in order for your deck to work, but why don't you just shove something in your deck that's completely unrelated? Sure, it has nothing to do with your combos, and it's not going to make your wombo combo inconsistent. It's just going to make the whole deck inconsistent. Yeah, just because your deck might have 10 extra spaces because the archetype is either under-supported or the rest of it's bad, so you don't play it, doesn't mean you should fill the space with something that can just shove its way in there. The trick when making a hybrid deck is to make sure you are not just making a bad version of one of the 2 halves, and instead are making a deck that is it's greater than the sum of its parts kind of thing. Mech Knights and Invoked are both really fantastic engines, but when you stick them together, it makes a pretty competent deck. Why is that? Because both of those engines stay out of each other's way and don't do anything to like bonk heads and get in the way of actually making the deck function. For instance, oh, I got a bunch of spaces in my deck, let me just shove in another engine that also requires that of a normal summon. You will then start finding that you want to go summon your Manju of 10,000 hands, but you're also fighting for your normal summon with your Denko Sekka. You don't want to stick stuff in your deck that's going to bonk into the main part of your deck. If your deck needs its normal summon, if it lives or dies by it, don't stick an engine in your deck that requires a normal summon. You wouldn't put the Blue Boy Spellbook Draw engine in a deck that needs its normal summon. Just like you wouldn't stick a special summoning engine in a deck that's running 3 Card of Demise and 3 Pot of Duality. A thing to look out for is certain cards like, I don't know, I think Multi-Figure does this, where it special summons it from a hand, it gets itself out of the way. You might want to mix it with something like, I don't know, Paleo, but then you realize, oh, yeah, but I can't summon anything except Altergeist monsters the turn I use this effect. I'm pretty sure it's Altergeist that Multi-Figure that says that. And if not, it's still a good example even if the card doesn't exist. Don't put stuff together when one thing says you can't do this, because more often than not, it's actually going to throw a wrench in your plans or cause you to misplay or accidentally cheat. Like, I don't know, attacking with your non-zombies after using a unizombie effect. And then you're gonna get that good old game loss from the judge. Basically, long story short, if you're going to try to fiddle with your deck, the best thing you can do is try to up its consistency, maximizing the ability for your deck to make its power play over and over and over and over again, and then lower or minimize its inconsistencies, taking out bricks, so that your deck can function like the well-oiled machine you want it to be, so that even if it doesn't always win a duel, it's at least making the same plays every duel, so you can be assured that it's not your deck that's losing, it's just being outplayed. So that was my quick little ramble about min-maxing your deck. If there's any tips and tricks that you guys have down in the comments below, please let the newer players rather, know about them, because these are certain things that they really come down to, like specific examples of cards and things like that, where I can be as general as possible, but it's just going to come off as a little obtuse to you guys. So, you know, if you guys have questions in the comments or you have tips in the comments, just let them down there and I'll talk to you guys. We'll go back and forth. It's a discussion video, and I don't just get up in front of my discussion video camera and just yammer at you guys. I actually want you guys to talk about it. So, talk about it. Anyway guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think and any of your questions. Remember guys, if you don't troll the meadow, who will? I will see you guys for the rest of Discussion Week.
Oh, hey losers. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Wanna watch something else? Hurry up and choose one of these. Ugh. When are you gonna make a choice? This year would be nice.